We had some good feedback. I guess one of the guy, I think I copied you, maybe I didn't, that was on our recon today. He's a MAPS coach too. So he's going to be inviting his clients.
Awesome. Get the rest of these emails taken care of before we launch here.
Your co-host now.
Sweet.
Got 1 minute, gang. 1 minute. Got the regulars.
So I'm going to give you your email as well as
Almost 1 o'clock. Almost 1 o'clock.
All right, Den, do you got stuff that you have lined up ready to roll, or do you want me to dig up a few things for you?
Well, we'll start it off here at 1 o'clock, and then you can. I'll let you, when you introduce yourself, say what do you got going on. Let's put it in the chat. Let's get going. It's Friday, so I'm just waiting for my clock to say 1 o'clock. There we go. It's 1 o'clock Eastern, and you may be. I know Kevin, and yeah, Kevin, you're in San Francisco, so that's probably 9 o'clock. He's having his coffee and croissant. Welcome to Mastery Roleplay with Denny Grimes and John McLeod. I'm in my home studio right now in Fort Myers. John, where are you?
I am actually in my home in Naples, Florida right now, waiting for the air conditioner repairman to get here.
That is an interesting comment right there. Maybe I'll get to it if you remind me. So for those people that are on, those watching that basically on YouTube, we'll talk about, this is a mastery level role play. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be a master to be on it. It means we want to get you to the point where you're going to be a mastery conversation expert. And won't that be fun? And we do that by practicing question-based listening enhanced conversation. I find that a conversation goes a whole lot better if you happen to be listening to what they have to say. And believe me, they would rather listen to what they have to say than what we have to say. So we ask great questions and allows them to articulate that. And if this is the first time here, you've not visited, I've got a YouTube channel, the Master Denny Grimes, the Master of Real Estate. We just crossed the 700. We're going for 70,000 is my goal. And I've got over 100, it says here, over 196 videos. If you want to have your team watch some things, if you have insomnia, whatever happens to be, you may want to watch a couple of these videos. And of course, if you take a snap of that, we might even put the code in, the Zoom code, that you can share somebody else that you want to have join us. So the last announcement is, if I know we have agents here that are not Keller Williams. However, Keller Williams started a daily role play class called Recon, which stands for Real Estate Conversations. There's the information. You're welcome to participate. John's a host. I'm a host. Jen Davis from Keller Williams International is a host. And we do our best to keep you sharp. So, John, what do you got for us today?
All right, Denny, there's nothing in the chat yet. So I just decided, so let's do something different. I went and used the Googleverse to come up with some great objections.
All right, the new ones?
Yeah, you know, Denny, let me ask you, are there really any new objections?
There are not.
Okay, so none of these are new. Let's start with this. My friend is helping me.
Okay. May I, if you are going to brag about your little work on Googling objections, may I show my work handiwork?
Please do, please do.
So we always talk about, and many times I have the thought of the day, and we talk about the model. I'll show you the model. John will put it in the chat. When you have an objection, we didn't create this model. It's been created sometime. It's been taught for many decades. You want to acknowledge it, isolate, clarify. That's all kind of one thing. Answer it and close. Well, we've been coming up with another analogy here that I want you kind of, and I've never shown this slide before, although I've talked about it. And I haven't heard anybody use this analogy, so maybe I'll take credit for it. So in that model, the model takes you to, for example, the first base is to clarify. So you want to get clear on what they mean. Then what we're talking about here, no matter what the objection is, the handling is all the same. And it works best by getting clarity on what they mean by what they say. Finding out what makes them want to move, stay, buy, sell, etc. That's second base. And then you go and you give them a picture of what happens if you don't do that. We call that pain. Some people may not like pain. However, you know what we're talking about. And then every great conversation should have a closing question. So I've never showed that before. What do you think, John? Although the colors don't show up on my green screen well, what do you think of the little metaphor?
You know, I like it, Denny, and being colorblind, I'm totally cool with the colors.
All righty then. Well, then here we go. Let's start. And you are saying, I've got the timer. We attempt to do at least four segments of an objection. 4 minutes of the role play. How'd you do? Well, maybe do a teleprompt on it and dissect it a little bit after the fact. So we'll at least have 4 or maybe even 5 role plays today. And the first one is coming up. So you say a friend is helping you.
Yep.
Are you a buyer or seller?
I'll be a seller.
All right, so here we go. I will start that. And this is always a little tricky, finding the cursor. There we go. So you're a seller. So awesome, John. Other than that, now notice the awesome was the acknowledgement. My isolation and clarity is other than that, John, is there any other reason why you wouldn't hire a professional like me?
No, you know, my friend's a professional too, so I think I'm on the right track.
Okay, so now I'm going to get clarity here. Your friend is a professional real estate agent?
Yes.
All right, and do they work this area?
Yep.
And are they a residential agent?
Yep.
So let me ask you, obviously you made an appointment with me. Why are we talking?
Love that question. You know, I've always been told it's good to get a second opinion.
So am I here to make the girl you're thinking about asking to marry you look good?
No, you know, I guess I'm just wondering if there's something else out there that I might be missing.
I got that. Well, congratulations, John, on actually following a pretty good method of getting more than one opinion. I mean, people do it medically all the time. It's called getting a second opinion. And generally when people get a second opinion, it's because they weren't real comfortable, not 100% comfortable with their first opinion. I don't, in fact, come to think of it, I don't know that I've ever heard of a patient getting a second opinion when they were 100% comfortable with the first. Have you?
No, I can't say I have.
So tell me where's your uncomfortableness, John?
You know, this person's been around for 10 years, sells a couple homes a month. And, you know, I guess the uncomfortableness is it's a friend. And what if something doesn't work?
Okay. What's your concern about that?
I mean, have you ever had a bad experience with a friend that you wish you could turn around?
Are you meaning that it might cost you the friendship?
That's kind of the concern, I guess. Yeah.
So let me then, okay, because I've got a minute and a half left. Let me lay that out, make sure I understand. So your friend is full-time. However, his production is not as grand as what we do. Is that fair?
Yeah.
If you were to stack us up as professional agents and you didn't know either one of us, who would you hire?
Probably you.
Well, why not me? If I have more experience and I sell, you know, twice as many homes as your friend does, why not emphatically me?
Okay, great. Now we have 50 seconds left. Let's do it where you are a new agent and their friend is same objection, still worried about the friendships. You're a new agent. So those new ones can handle it differently.
Okay, so now what office is your friend with?
ABC down the street.
And do you know how much market share and how many transactions they have a week or month or year?
No, I don't. Is that important?
Well, let me ask you, if do you want to fish in the pond where there's the most fish or the least?
Most fish.
Okay.
I like to catch fish.
And so if an office is more productive, they're working with more sellers, that means they have more buyers. Do you think that would be an advantage to you? So inside of 4 minutes, you throw me a curveball with 45 seconds left. I have the same conversation, John. I just take it to the office.
Yep. So Denny, I'd like to hear some ahas, and there are a few things that people should have been writing down on that. Yes, this is recorded. However, there were a few points in here that you should have written down. What did you guys take away from this? And don't be shy.
John, I like the fact that Denny was straight up with you saying, well, then why am I here? If you're so convinced your friends got this,
Yep.
why are we speaking?
Excellent. Great point. LaKayla.
You kind of took mine, but in the beginning, when you were doing the isolation, any other reason other than it being a friend, would you not hire a professional like me?
Now, why is that an important step, LaKayla?
Now, that's the only thing that you got to get.
Exactly.
And you're already stressing that you're concerned about jeopardizing the friendship. Then I probably would have just gone a little deeper on that.
Excellent. Mr. Brutus.
I think the way he dug down to continue to ask you to get a solid answer rather than just try to answer objections that weren't even brought up. So he like really dug down every time you said something. He like wanted to bring it to the surface.
Absolutely. Denny, what were you going to say?
I just said Belize, said Brutus. So anyway, here's where I'm going to pat myself on the back. Well, number one, you picked up on it right away. What's wrong with the question? If they've invited you over and you're having a conversation and they want to use your friend, that's a fair question, right? Let me ask you this. Let me just make an observation here, because we're still inside of our 15 minutes for our first role play. If you have a question in your mind, the best thing to do is ask it instead of guess. That is profound, you guys. If the Uber driver app breaks down and he doesn't remember where you're going, do you want the Uber driver to continue to drive no matter where? No, that's number one. Number two is, and this kind of popped out. I don't know that I've ever used it like this. The second opinion. I had the aha when I was given the role play right now that he said he wanted a second opinion. And I thought, well, right away, and this is what I thought was probably the brilliant part of my role play, if I don't mind me patting myself on the back with my left hand, is that how many people do you know get a second opinion if they're happy with the first one?
That was a great question.
So
I mean, seriously, that was a great question.
it was an aha for me. That's why I love teaching you guys. I mean, I learned from you. I learned by doing. Guess what? Right now, I'm attempting to learn how to whistle. I've got every bold class I teach, there's someone who can whistle. I'm in the car today. I'm gonna have to watch a YouTube video on how to whistle. Hey, Chase, good to see you, man. Maybe you can whistle. So, John, that was that. Who's up next?
Oh, let's see. What do we got here? I need somebody to raise their hand before I raise it for you. Who wants to play along? Chase, were you raising your hand or are you scratching your nose?
I can do whatever you want.
Let's see. Chase.
Are we going to a different scenario?
We're going to do a different scenario, yes.
Chase, you want to buy or seller?
Let's do seller that is waiting for seasonality because their market July is the best time to sell.
Okay, and you're going to be the agent or the seller?
Seller.
All right. I'll be the seller. I mean, you're the agent, right? Is that what you said?
No, I'm the seller.
Okay, then I want it. All right, Chase, other than waiting for July, any other reason why you don't want to take advantage of the market now?
No, just been listening to a lot of stuff, and rates are supposed to drop this summer is what we're hearing, and I think that we can get the most for our money in July versus right now.
Okay. So are you saying then it really isn't the calendar that's driving your decision, it's making the most money?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, we think that we can get multiple offers and have people bid against each other, but we would definitely like to be in a new house by the end of the third quarter.
Okay, now he's walked me right to second base. And notice that when you have a little bit of clarity, you want to get to the motivation. Now he opened the door, so I'm going to go. So you want to be in your new house in the third quarter? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, somewhere around there, because we also we want to figure out how to time it best where we can get the most offers, but we also want to time it best where we can get the best rate for our new purchase.
Okay, and so you haven't bought the new house yet, right?
No, but we have a pretty good idea of the area that we want to be in.
Okay, and so let me, I want to make sure you get clarity here. You want to sell your house and wait so you can get the multiple offers and you get the most for your money, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we've always heard that July is the busiest time, and we just want to make sure that we're getting the most for it.
Okay, so you're going to get the most for your house when you sell, and then you're going to go over to the neighborhood you've been looking and pay the most for the house you're going to buy. Is that what you want to do?
Really, we want to catch a lower interest rate. If they're going to keep going down towards the end of the year, we want to sell at the highest we can, but we also want to get the lowest interest rate.
Well, let's separate the two. What's more important to you, the sales price or the interest rate?
Probably the sales price.
Okay, so you want to sell high and buy high, is that right?
I'd really like to sell high and buy low.
That's what I was hoping you would say. Well, let me ask you, in your opinion, the market, do you think the market's working in your favor right now as a seller or working against you?
I think it's not harming me right now, but I think that it could be much more advantageous for me with more competition this summer.
Advantageous when you say competition, from sellers or buyers?
From buyers.
Okay, so let me ask you, do you think if you wait, do you think it's kind of a common thing where people will wait for a better time to sell? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would, if they're not rushed, yeah, I would assume everybody's going to do that.
Well, what if there was a house on the market that you really liked? You guys just loved it. It was fairly priced. And you could get your number for your home right now and take away all the potential risk, because there's a risk you could be wrong. There's a risk that the market could drop. There's a risk that the interest rates could go up. What if you could have all of that and take away the risk? Would that interest you?
I mean, yeah, of course.
Well, first of all, I mean, there's a number, and there may be a buyer out there right now that wants to give you your number. If that was true, would you sell it? Would you sell your house now?
I'd sell tomorrow.
And then what the good thing is, you said you wanted to sell high and buy low. If the market creeps down or the interest rates creep up, you might get a better buy by waiting. Would you be able to find temporary accommodations to wait for the right time to buy?
Yeah, my parents have a guest house that we could stay in.
Well, that sounds perfect, doesn't it? Well, the only way to find out if that buyer's out there, oh, I just hit 0, is to go look for them. Will you hire me to find them for you?
Let's do it.
All right. Are you laying down on me? Are you playing dead?
No, you ran out of time. But no, that's what a conversation a lot of our agents are having with listings right now is historically in Tucson, June and July are gangbusters. So trying to help them out with why now is a great time versus listing in July.
Well, how did you feel when I asked you the question? So you want to wait to sell high so you can wait to buy high. How did that hit you?
I think that it doesn't feel good. What does feel good is the potential for lower interest rates, but we're also coaching them that no cost refis and everything else are down the road as well.
Any other comments, John? Thanks for playing, Chase.
No problem, buddy.
No, that was good. That was awesome. Anyone else want to step up? We're going to do the classic for sale by owner. I want to sell it myself.
Okay, I'm resetting this.
I saw a smirk from a lady who looks like she's at a beach house.
Sandra, that's one of her investments or her new listing or one she tried to get me to buy.
That it could be likely all of the above.
On condo, you're not gonna buy it, but I'll rent it to you for $1 million a night. You got it?
All right,
Profit, I
Sandra.
love
Who's the buy owner?
it. Sandra's going to be the buy owner. She just took herself off mute.
All right. And you're the agent?
I'll be the agent,
All right.
which is good for her because she's afraid of you. So,
Yes. I'm starting the clock. Go.
all right. So, Sandra, I appreciate you having me out here tonight. And let me ask you, are you ready to move forward now?
I don't think so, John. I think, Dominic and I have talked about it and we really feel like, we kind of want to give it a go and sell it ourselves, and we're pretty financially savvy. So, we think we can do this. We've got attorneys that can help us.
Okay. Okay. So I get it. So tell me more about that. What's that?
I said, appreciate you coming out.
No, not a problem. And by the way, for those who don't know me, she never got a price out of me. So, so Sandra, other than wanting to sell yourself, is there anything else keeping us from doing business together?
I mean, we like you. We just, want to pocket as much money, that we can.
Okay. So what I hear you saying is you're looking to net as much as you possibly can. So my question to you is this: are you more interested in saving money or making money?
It's more about making money.
Okay. All right. Terrific. And Sandra, what is the reason why you're selling? Where are you guys going from here?
We really don't have that narrowed down yet. We're kind of thinking about moving to Italy or possibly going to Austin to be around the grandkids. We're just not sure.
Okay. Excellent. And those are two completely different sections of the world, like an entire world apart. So that's great. Well, if you were to put your house on the market and sell it tomorrow, what's your plan? Since you don't have one ironed out, what are you going to do?
We'd probably pack up and put everything in storage and just go travel for a little bit before we make a final decision.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, and you'd probably want to be able to use some of the extra money on the sale of the house to be able to accommodate that, right?
That's a leading question.
Yes,
No.
it is. Listen, you're not the judge.
You're better off though to ask the question.
Okay. So what would you do with the extra money that you made on this sale?
I would just put it in the bank.
There
Okay,
you go.
great. So, Sandra, I've been doing this a long time, and I have just a question for you.
What's that, John?
Do you think it's possible with the database that we have and the connections that we have in the real estate community that we may be able to expose your home to a greater percentage of the market than you can do so on your own?
I mean, that's highly probable, but you have to also remember too that Dominic and I have a pretty large sphere of friends as well too.
Okay, I get it. And yeah, we don't need to compare everyone who's looking to buy a house in Houston versus your database. So little dig. So let me ask you, Sandra, if an agent like me brings you a buyer, are you willing to compensate that agent?
Yeah.
Okay. So really what you're looking to
Depends on what the
save,
compensation is though.
if you net what you're looking to net, does it matter?
I don't know. I'd have to talk to Dominic on that one.
So here's another thing is we would never be at the table without them both there. So she's playing hard to get, which is typical Sandra Marconi. I expect that. So Sandra, what I understand from the way you said that is if you had to compensate an agent and you were netting what you wanted or more, you might still not do it.
It just depends on what the numbers are, John. You know how we are about our numbers, so.
Answer the dang question. If you're
Yeah, well,
netting
that's
what
the
you
way-
want to net.
That's what she plays. That's time. All right. So she's always a little ornery like that.
If you're netting what you want to net or more in your pocket, why wouldn't you do it? No one is going to play hard to get on that, except Sandra Marconi.
And the other thing, Dominic doesn't have anything to say about it.
And Dominic, being the accountant and the financial guy, is going to be like, yeah, if we're going to net more than we're expecting, we're taking it and running.
So what John was doing was beginning to reduce it to the ridiculous.
Yep.
So I will play, I'll just carry on here for 2 more minutes. Take me down that road.
Second, can I go get a glass of wine real quick? Go ahead.
The second one?
It's 12,
Okay,
it's
go
12
ahead.
o'clock on the beach. So, all right.
So yes, so John, yes, I'm willing to pay. If you bring me an offer, I'm willing to pay you. I'm willing to pay your commission.
Okay, terrific. So really what we're talking about saving is about half of the commission, right?
Now, normally, yes. And so John is being politically correct here because we're all over the place rather than saying how much. If you're talking to your client and the commission's 40 and you're going to say, okay, so you're really attempting to save 20, would that be fair?
Yes. So there you go.
Just
Now
one
you're
number
teed
doesn't
up.
fit all. So yes, you're right. So yes, I'm trying to, I'll just say I'm attempting to save 20.
Okay. So Denny, are you aware of the 3 points in a transaction that cost sellers the most money?
No, I don't. I've never heard it put that way.
Okay. Well, one of them is when you're negotiating the price. And I have absolutely zero doubt that you can find a buyer and negotiate a price for your home. My question to you is, with the experience that me and my team have over the past X number of years, do you think it's possible that we may have seen enough to be able to put a little extra money in your pocket?
Now, okay. Now I'll let you guys be the judge. Now he's going down the path, and I've never had this thought. I'm going to ask the question the other way.
Okay.
Rather than saying put money in your pocket,
You're going to
my
ask
metaphor
how much,
is
how much,
I'm shaving the 20 down.
yep.
So is it possible, John, that because I do, and actually I would start with asking price, but they've already
And Denny, so you know, I was waiting for you to say yes, and then I was going to ask you, how much do you think that would be?
Okay. Well, but you're saying how much you can save. I'm going to say how much it's going to cost you. Do you think basically that when they come in and negotiate, do you think someone that doesn't negotiate for a living may be able to, give away a 0.5% or some crazy number like that they don't have to?
Yeah.
So that's just the same. That's just the same way of asking it the other way. So keep going.
It's a quicker way of getting there. So thank you for that. So, and then the next spot, now we've shaved off 0.5 to 1% at this point. So Denny, the next point is during the home inspection, things come up. And what we found is a lot of times sellers do things that they may not necessarily have to do. Do you think that our expertise in this area may be able to save you another 0.5% or percent?
Maybe. I don't think it'd be 1%, but maybe $500, maybe.
Okay, so $500, great. And then the next spot is the appraisal. Now, if the appraisal comes in low, what's your plan B?
I guess put it back on the market, right?
How does that help you in your plans going forward?
Right.
Break it down to the ridiculous. Sometimes you're going to find guys that when the sellers add this stuff up, they realize, wait a second, it's costing me money doing it myself. Sometimes you're going to find a gap. Let's say that the seller is going to save $5,000 in this case. Then you start going down, what's your time worth? How many showings is it going to take you to sell? And you're spending $500 or $1,000 of your money every time you have to do one of these tasks. How does it affect your work? How does it affect your lifestyle? So you start getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and all of a sudden the seller realizes, I'm really not saving anything. I'm just doing this for bragging rights, so I can tell my friends I didn't over the Manhattan that I didn't need to hire an agent. When the reality of it is, they self-realize that it's not the best decision for them.
And to put a bow on it, and this is, John is exactly right. I want you guys to develop the mindset that a great listing agent is free to a seller. Now, one thing I don't want you guys, I want you to be able to sell your value without counting on the market rescuing you. In the last 2.5, 3 years, we've seen the market go up. Hey, listen, I can put more money in your pocket because the market is saving you. It's worth more money every day. Take that away because now you're promising something you don't have control over. However, what John's talking about, the 3 points, really, the initial asking price, then you have your offer negotiation, then you have the appraisal, then you have the inspection. Then, by the way, what's their time worth? What about their legal liability? By the way, they're going to have to hire someone to do the title, the paperwork, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so you just keep slicing it down. And they think they're saving $40,000. No, they may not be saving any money at all. You've heard me say this before. I'll give you this analogy one more time. It only takes a second. John, get ready, get the next person teed up. If someone came by, a professional painter, very reputable, I mean, they got a great reputation in town, said, look, you won the drawing. I paint one house for free every year. I'm going to paint your house for free. Would you turn it down? And a rational person would say no. Well, what if somebody had a better contest than that? Well, how can you beat free? What if the painter said, not only am I going to paint your house and not charge you, I'm going to give you a check for $5,000 when I'm done. Now, that's my attitude when I'm talking to a seller. I believe we can put more money in the seller's pocket. They'll net more money using us, even if we forget the market's level. And that's just the way it is. I want you guys to develop that mindset.
Denny, you mentioned something earlier, and I don't want this to get glossed over or passed by. You said you need to go in there and say a great listing agent is going to save them or make them money.
Actually, I think it's a lot. You're right, Joe. I think a great listing agent's free to a seller.
Yep.
If not makes them money. And I would say to
that's
a seller,
the great listing agent that I want everybody to absorb. It's not a listing agent. It's a great listing agent. And that's the mindset that you have to have and the confidence you have to have going into that you already are a great listing agent.
Can I say something real quick?
No, you hate me.
yeah, take a drink first.
It's a love-hate relationship. One thing that I've done recently is just, and I kind of stole it from Kristen, is telling sellers, experience matters. You can have somebody who'll come in and do it cheap for you, but the experienced agent is the one who's going to get the home sold for you at a better price. And it's worked very, very well. It's kind of like, who did you want flying that airplane that landed on the Hudson? Did you want Sully or did you want a brand new agent?
That's a great example. Yes, that's a great example, Sandra. All right, Bob of the hour. John, we're up. Number 3, let's go.
All right. Can you lower your commission, Denny?
No, what else do you want to know?
Well, I found another agent who will.
All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's start. All right, I'm gonna tie both my brains behind my back. Okay, so all right. So other than the commission, any other reason why we wouldn't do we can't do business today?
Nope.
Awesome. So now, what did the other agent offer you?
X% lower than you.
Okay. So X% lower than me. Okay. So are you saying then that if fee wasn't an issue, you would hire me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm curious, when they came in, and this would be awesome for you, were you able to negotiate their fee down?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Were you able to negotiate? I mean, they came in with, I'm just going to say a number because people are going to get lost in this. Let's say they came in at 6 and you got them down to 5. Is that what happened?
No, they just started out that low.
Okay. And of that 5%, what are they paying to the buyer's agent?
My assumption is half of it.
But you don't know though for sure though, right?
I don't know for sure, but my assumption is half.
How would you feel if they were only paying 2%, keeping the rest?
I suppose it doesn't matter as long as the house gets sold, right?
Okay. See, it's harder for me to walk through this without, and I'm a little uncomfortable talking about commission and percentages. So that's why I'm slowing down.
Yep.
And so, all right. So let me ask you then, this is the question you use, which is a great question. What's more important for you, saving money or making money?
Well, I guess in the end, it's what I walk away with. That's why I'm thinking a lower commission rate makes sense.
So would you hire me if I were free?
Oh yeah. You're
Okay.
free?
Now, we just had the conversation. Now I might go back through that conversation and show however, all I have to do is now work on, let's say 1%. So for example, okay, so let me ask you let's see, who do you want me to be here? I can't be me. You want me to be just a newer agent?
Sure, be a newer agent.
Okay. So they charge right. And so let me ask you, what do you know about their results?
I see them posting pictures all over Facebook. Looks like they're doing a lot.
And in your opinion, in the market, as a seller, do you think it's working in your favor or working against you?
It's probably working against me right now.
So what does that mean to you though?
Well, it means that, it looks like inventory is going up and prices are going down. That's never a good thing if you're trying to get the absolute most you can.
Well, all right, so I get that, and I think you're astute, understanding the market. We're seeing that in the market. Then do you think if agents are being compensated more to sell your competition versus your home, do you think that works in your favor?
Well, I mean, I would think that it shouldn't make a difference.
So if you could get gas at a quarter cheaper on one corner versus the other quarter, where would you get gas?
I'm going to go where I can get it a quarter cheaper.
You're going to go where you get the best bang for the buck.
Yep.
So let me ask you. So do you think did your agent that's offering it for less money, because I'm out of time now, did they go over that with you and say how that your home may be at a disadvantage because they're taking it at a lower fee? So where I'm going with that
question. Love that question. And that's one of those that makes people think without doing anything like impugning another agent. It just makes them think, gee, I really wonder if this is a big deal. So that's a great question. LaKayla has her hand raised.
Can Denny repeat what was that last question?
I said, did your agent go over the fact? No, first of all, I had to establish that the seller said the market's working against him. This wouldn't work if they thought the market was neutral or in his favor. So every day his home is worth less. Now I take him to, going back here to the baseball analogy, I take him to painting. Did your agent tell you that basically, I mean, if an agent can make more money selling your neighbor's house, your competition's house, did your agent let you know that because we're taking it at a lower fee, you think you're saving money. However, you're not as attractive in the marketplace as your competition. Did your agent explain that to you? Do you think that would make them think?
My first thought was going back to even the scenario about the friend. You spoke to this agent with the lower fees, so I'm just curious, why are you seeking a second opinion?
Okay,
like, did he not believe that agent that was going to save him money, not get the job done? Is that why he's now talking to me?
No, LaKayla, I'm kind of hoping you do it for the same price.
Well, John, what outcome are you looking for? Did you not believe that you get a great outcome at the lower fee?
No, I just figured that I could get you to do it for the same fee as the other person.
But you are saying that you weren't 100% comfortable with what they presented to you. Is that why you're seeking a second opinion?
No, I'm just trying to see if someone else will do it at that same fee.
I'm going to just give you, I'm just going to give you a timeout and you keep
Yep.
going. Normally, and I'm glad you're listening and taking notes because you're applying what you're learning today. However, it's not unusual that they go ahead and schedule 2 or 3 appointments and they don't even know what the fee is until they have appointment 1. You happen to be appointment 2 or so.
Yep.
So that's already been scheduled. It's not like they had it, you know, so. If you had, did you want to say something else? Okay.
No, I'm fine. I don't know where else he was going to go. He keeps saying, can I do it for the same? I would have maybe tried to circle back to say, probably
Look,
to the-
Kayla, that would go right back to the, are you interested in saving money or making money? If I could show you, would you?
I'm going to then, now I'm not, you don't have to be a 40-year agent like me. However, and there's a lot of, my wife's team has this, there's a lot of teams out there that have flexible commission. So I would go here, John. Did they, so let's excess 5%. Let's just use that for the case. Now, what happens if you find a buyer or a buyer finds you? What's the fee?
I have no idea. We didn't talk about it.
Well, according to the contract, you'd still have to pay the 5%.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now-
I would assume so.
So let me ask you, we have a variable rate commission, meaning if you find the buyer or buyer finds you, it happens all the time because you know people and it's kind of like you've been able to have conversations with people. Our fee is only 2% if there's no other broker involved. Now, does that potential savings, massive savings outweigh the 1% you're looking at the other end?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or not? So many of you guys, if you're on a team or you're with a brokerage, you may want to talk about how you can have what do they call those things? Not MOFers. What do they call those things?
Hey, Denny, I have to hop off just a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay, what? It's not a MOFer. Is that a MOFer, right? Where you make an offer for immediate response? Is that what a MOFer is? So you guys have that. I know 72 Sold has something like that. If you're with Keller Williams, about how you can get net more money for the sellers, that's their claim. So at some point in time, if the agent goes out there and their fee is X and then they discount it, remember that was the first question I asked, then you hit them on their negotiating strength. However, he kind of blocked me on that because he said, no, that was their fee. And you're going to go out there and people charge their own fees. So you'll have to then find another way to work around their savings. And one of the ways in which I used was the fact that, okay, what are they paying the buyer's agent? So John had to go get his dog. So I am back up. And so I know now, Brian, you've been quiet today. And Arne, you've been quiet today. Did you guys have anything you would like to talk about?
Really nothing specific, Denny. Just, there seems to be so many people that are prospective buyers that are all saying, I'm just going to watch the market. I'm just going to wait until things settle down. And I know there are some really good responses to that, but if you have something that would be, and I know it's common, but I would love to have the feedback.
Okay. And Arne's got a question. I think it is, if I'm saying it right, Ardeen. Why would I pay 2% if they see my advertising? That just generally, that's not the way it works. The way it works really is if a seller meets someone they work with, somebody that's in their sphere. I've had sellers out walking the dog and the inventory's been so tight, people drive around all the time like sharks, moving in the water, looking for new listings, etc. And say, hey, look, I'm looking for, they'll see somebody driving around, they have a conversation. Well, my home's for sale. So it doesn't happen very often. However, the allure of that happening for a seller is attractive. And we've probably done it half a dozen times in the last 12 months and happy to do it. So going back to Brian, you were saying about somebody who's a little bit lukewarm in the marketplace. Is that kind of where you're coming from?
Yeah, there's several people that I have that are just, they're going, nope, I'm going to watch the market. I'm going to wait and see what it does. Cause I keep hearing the market's going to tank, and then I'm going to swoop in and get these good prices.
Okay, so I guess you're going to have to understand their motivation. If someone says there's no way I'm leaving this house unless they carry me out in a box, what's my motivation level?
Yeah, 0.
However, if I knew that, hey, look, that the house that I really wanted to move into and the neighborhood I wanted to move into is available at a really good price, my motivation can change like that. So if someone's not motivated, and this is what I want you to write down if you're writing, if you're taking notes. If there's no motivation, any reason is a good reason not to sell or buy. So if they have motivation and we don't get the listing or they don't work with us, then it's our conversation. So if you have someone you would like to personify, anyone, Brian or whatever, give me someone. You've got to dig into the motivation. Do you have a buyer in mind or seller in mind, Brian?
Well, there's somebody that doesn't live local. They live out like Midwest and seem to just not be in a hurry. And not that I want to try to force them to take some action, but I want to have a really good answer that might trigger some thought that they haven't thought of. Maybe help them with their perspective, help them make the decision for them, I guess is the way I'm saying it.
I guess then I will do this. Start. All right, let's reset this. So we're talking on the phone. You're not even in town. You're thinking, okay, so Brian, hey, listen, we've been talking for some time. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning you're moving is not really a big important thing for you. 10 meaning you'd like to, if you found the right house, you'd move today. Where are you?
Probably about a 5.
Awesome. What would have to happen to move the needle to a 10?
I'd have to find a home that I felt was priced really well. I got to know I'm getting a good deal.
Okay. What else?
That's pretty much it, because I keep hearing the news that, the housing market's going to crash and I want to take advantage of it, but I don't want to overpay.
And when you find this house, why do you want it? No, that's only part of it. Now you got to go figure out, why do you want another house?
Oh, I want to move to Florida. I want to live the Florida lifestyle. I'm tired of the cold, but I can deal with it a little bit, but eventually I'd like to move.
And ideally, you said eventually, what would be your ideal time frame?
Well, if I could do it within a couple of years, that would probably be good.
So you currently own your house, right?
Yes.
And you want to sell your house and buy a house in Florida.
Yes.
And you're waiting for the market to crash to do that.
And that's what the news keeps saying. So I thought I would try to get a good deal.
Now watch this, you guys. This is kind of I could do this with my blindfold on. So what you're saying is you want to wait for the market to crash so you can sell your house for peanuts, so you can buy a house for peanuts.
Well, I guess maybe that would be the case, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think of it that way.
Well, now when someone says, I didn't think of that. Now, doesn't it make sense if they're going to buy because they think the market's going to tank, that they're going to take it on the shorts on their house too? Now, does anybody think that the way I'm asking that is a little bit like uncomfortable? Say, oh, I don't think I could ask that.
No, I think it's the perfect way to ask it.
Sandra, you don't think so, Arne?
No, I think you're actually kind of nice.
Well, I know. I mean, you would be a lot more direct. But Arne, you were shaking your head. Was that an uncomfortable question for you?
No, I love uncomfortable questions.
Well, that's why you're positioned right next to Sandra. So what I'm suggesting, you guys, it's not rude. Sometimes you have to help them see that. So you want to sell. All right. So now that he has the question, well,
You have to help your client think too.
yes.
Sometimes
Right.
they can't what is it, the forest for the trees?
Yeah, Forest for the Trees, Forest for the Trees. That was Tom Cruise and Jack Reacher. So, well, how, here's my cake and eat it too. How would you like to have your cake and eat it too, Brian?
Hey, if there's a way to do that, that sounds great.
Well, if you want to, I mean, doesn't it make more sense instead of sell low, buy low, to sell high and buy low?
Oh, yeah. How would I do that?
Well, you'd have to sell high. And do you think the market's high? Because you think it's going to crash. So is the market higher now than what it's going to be?
Yeah, that's what I understand. That's what the news says.
So why wouldn't you sell now and take advantage of the high market?
Well, I guess that's a good question. What would I do in the meantime until I buy my house in Florida?
You'd sit, well, there's a lot of things you could do, but your money is going to be, you'll be sitting on your cash. And as that market starts to fall, guess what? Your cash becomes more valuable. Now, again, I don't know if they're going to do that. They're, well, we're going to be blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, so that is one of the answers to it. The other answer really quick is, well, you want to get to Florida eventually. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
No, go ahead.
How old are you?
I'm 59.
So what if it took 10 years for that eventually to happen? Now you're 69.
I don't know if I have 10 years.
Well, if you don't have 10 years and every year is going to get moving faster, then I'm just kind of curious, what value do you place on being there in Florida and for the lifestyle and then maybe family, who knows what? I want to go fishing. What value do you place on that?
A lot. Well, you hit it. I love to fish, and that's a big deal to me. So that's something I want to pursue more of.
So if you, now I don't know if I would say this. I don't know if I would. However, he said 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said 10 years, but I don't know if I have that much time. Let's just say you had 10 years. Would you spend half of it waiting for the right price so you can enjoy your last 10 years? It's a pretty strong question. You might find an easier way to ask that or a softer way. However, in essence, that's the equation. Everything is a pain-pleasure equation, right? So do you think, Brian, you can have some of those conversations with people?
Yes.
Ask them straight up. I use the 1 to 10. The 1 to 10 is great. You know, like we always tease Sandra on the scale of 1 to 10. At what point in time, what's the probability you're ever going to be nice to us? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 0, 10's 100. What's going to, so we could ask a 1 to 10 for anything. Straight out ask, what has to happen, Brian, to get you moved? Anyway, there we go.
Okay. No, that's good. Thank you.
I want to do an interest rate one. Who wants to do an interest? Who wants to give me a challenge? One of the customers you've had that's giving you a hard time, maybe a seller doesn't want to move or a buyer doesn't want to move because interest rate or whatever. See if you can stump me on this Friday. We have time for one more and a debrief and some ahas. And maybe by then, John will pop back on. Somebody give me a tough one. And don't chat it because I'm not looking at chats right now. Talk to me.
I wanna wait for the prices to go down and the interest rates to go down, because I saw on the news over the weekend that the prices are going to come down in the next couple months and the interest rates are going to come down in the next couple months.
You must be Brian's neighbor. Maybe you're his wife. I don't really know. I mean, I just talked to somebody who had that same concern. And there's somebody's got their hand up too that it says Sherry. So do you? Oh, hang on just a second, Arne. The young lady with her hand up. Her name is Sherry, but that's everybody. I don't know how to identify you. You've got your hand up, blonde hair. Looks like blonde hair. Is that not? That's not Whistler. You might be Whistler. What's your name? You just came on camera.
I think it's me, maybe.
What is it?
Yes, he's talking to you, Sherry.
I'm not hearing that, so I'm having a little difficulty. So hang on. Do you have a question? Do you want to do a role play? Oh, that's just muted. Arne, I'm coming to you. So you're a buyer or seller?
Buyer.
Good.
I
You-
have.
Yeah, do you own or rent?
I rent.
Remember, that's the first question. Okay, and you're,
Wait,
and
that's
you're-
why I. Can you hear me?
yeah. Yeah, but hang on 1 second. I'm in the middle of role play. You're kind of breaking up. Just 1 second. Arne, so you're currently renting. How long have you been renting, Arne?
My whole life.
And when did you have the first inclination to want to own?
A few months ago.
Okay. And why do you want to own a house? I'm going to second base.
I want to build some equity for myself, and I don't want to have to get permission to change anything in my house. I want to be able to do what I want when I want.
Okay, that's awesome. And what's holding you? Have you seen houses out there, or maybe it's condos? Have you seen houses out there that you like, that you would like to own and start building equity?
Yeah. And, but over the weekend, I was watching the news, and, they were talking about how, in the next couple of months, prices are probably going to be coming down, and interest rates are going to be coming down too. So, I think I should just wait a few more months.
Okay. And I'm going to take a wild stab. Are you a sports fan at all?
No.
I was afraid of that. Okay, so let me ask you, if I were to show you, we could Google it. If I were to send you an article or a news report that just happened in the last week that has the opposite information, what would you think then?
Well, then I'd be really confused.
Well, that is probably the best answer you could have given me. So isn't it fair to say that really no one knows the future?
I guess so, but I mean, these people are, they're pretty famous, and they've been on TV doing this for a long time. And
if they were good at predicting the future, they would buy Powerball numbers for a living, right? So here's my thinking. Everyone's got an opinion of the future. I want to focus on your future. What if they're wrong?
Well, if they're wrong about prices or interest rates.
Everything. People have been saying that. I've been in real estate for 40 years, and the last 10 years, 12 years, 13 years, the market's been going up. People have been saying that every week for 13 years.
Yeah, then I'm in big trouble, because I can get a lot less house for my money.
Well, how would you like not to be in trouble?
Yeah, I don't want to be in trouble.
Well, let me ask you, how long do you plan on owning this house that you're going to be able to fix up the way you want to?
At least 10 years.
Then my question is that if you're going to own it for 10 years, do you think any short-term fluctuations of the market really matter?
I guess not. I mean, if is going to make, would it make that much of a difference in my payment?
Well, I'm assuming now, again, I'm running out of time. Let's just assume that you can afford it. However, you're waiting on it to get better.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not building any equity, doesn't it make sense to start building equity and lock in your cost of living? And then when interest rates come down, your payment can come down.
Yes.
Anyway, I mean, it's kind of a familiar path. So I took it down that way. What did you think? How did it feel to you, Arne?
Good. I mean, you asked me, very realistic questions, and I was in the same situation last week, and I asked some similar questions, and it went basically the same way.
Well,
So I
what-
felt like,
Did they end up deciding to like move forward?
well, it was, my coach pulled me aside and said, I have a situation. Role play it with me real quick. What would you do?
Got it. Well, good.
And then it turned out to be a real situation a couple hours later with another agent. So we went through it again. She went through it with them and it worked.
Well, you know, we like to practice questions here and listening. The other rule for you guys that are watching this live or even maybe on the YouTube channel, another rule that we have is we can't make predictions about the future. So whatever they say, and there's pundits out there, if you want some really negative things to see, go on YouTube. I mean, this market's going to be on fire in about 36 days, right? Everyone's got an Armageddon prediction about the future. It's all clickbait stuff. So I could find something with an opposite opinion. So I did use something I've never used before. I kind of like the feel of it. Is like all these guys don't really know what the future is. However, I'm concerned about your future. I think that was a pretty strong statement. And I'm
Yeah.
really, so how did you feel when I said that?
It made me stop and think because, it made me feel like, you are looking out for my best interest. And, we don't know where this market's going to go or interest rates are going to go. So while we know we're in a good place, why don't we make a good decision?
Yes. So here I've got a big weekend coming up this weekend. I'm going to Taylor Swift's concert. I know who she is. If she walked into Target, I might recognize her. I don't know one of her songs. I won't be mosh pitting or dancing or singing. So how about that, sports fans? So I appreciate being on. Anybody having a holiday you'd like to share? Give us some love. What did you hear today that was worthwhile, that made it worthwhile for you?
Well, Danny, for mine, just being very clear with the questions that you might hesitate to ask, thinking, well, I don't want to push over a certain boundary, but I like the idea of you got to clarify. It's right there. I can't move forward unless I really know what's on their mind and where their pain is and how to proceed, how to help them make that decision. So I like the very clear, direct questions at times.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. One
Yes,
more, I'll let you go. Of course, you can hang up on me anytime.
How many people are happy with the second opinion? Need a second opinion if they're happy with the first.
There you go. That's awesome. I surprised myself, James. Well,
That
you
was a
guys
good
have an
one.
awesome weekend. Do me a favor, listen to some Taylor Swift music for me. Maybe give me some advice. How should I dress? I mean, should I wear cowboy boots? I don't even know. Be careful out there, guys. I love you, mean it.
Thanks, Danny. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, bye.